The following is brought to you by a generous donation from Canoe Place Inn and Cottages. Fine hospitality in Hampton Bays since 1697. More at canoeplace.com.
Wow, it is way too hot for a hootenanny, but we're having one anyway in what we're calling a hot, hot,
Playing the guitar down on the ocean, Atlantic Ocean by the side of the sea.
I am Bill McCuddy.
Can't we just be cool? I'm Bridget Leroy.
We've tried
I'm
being
the
cool,
definition
it
of
doesn't
cool.
work. This is and that's the always hot Jim Turner, our one-man band. And this is a little something called AirHamptons
With Bridget and Bill.
That's right.
That's us.
Lovely. In the middle of Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman spent 30 days in a hot box. We're spending the next 60 minutes in a giant tin building, roasting like turkeys in August.
I know, I feel more like a sardine.
I'm the turkey, I guess.
You are.
Today we have the legendary G.E. Smith and his lovely wife, Taylor Barton. She has written a novel. He will be at Guildhall. I want to, and also Ann Liguori joins us with her book. She is a woman that wandered into a man's world, kind of like this show.
Wait, which of us is the woman? I'm so confused. Who am I today? What are you talking about?
She has a great new book called Life on the Green,
Yes.
Lessons and Wisdom from the Legends of Golf. She sat down with all of them, and she's going to sit down with us.
That's great.
The less than legendary Bill McCuddy. And the very legendary.
Very legendary Bridget Leroy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who I am.
I've read your press release. I don't believe any of it, but it's all there.
There's
you
a
are
press
legend.
release?
Hey, speaking of legends, Jim Turner, favorite August or favorite summer gig, playing either out here or anywhere in the country?
Oh, yeah, I dropped that name before. I was very fortunate where G.E. Smith was in between, flying around the world, and I sat in with him at a place in 3 Mile Harbor, and they liked me so much they had me play with them. And then I said, well, if you're available and the money's right, I have some parties I can hire you for. And we were hired for this. I've done thousands of them, but I did a lot with GE, and it's a
cool.
big part of my. So we got hired to play the Boys Harbor fireworks with Tony Duke, and sure enough, GE showed up with a long extension cord, and I can't help tell you that was one of the greatest things in my life. This guy's one of the greatest guitar in the
What
world.
are the odds he's on the show today? What are the
No,
odds?
he doesn't go to places like this.
No,
I know.
we are lucky. He brought a
No.
long extension cord here.
Everybody's slumming. That's what we should have called this show. Everybody's slumming with Bridget and Bill.
That's a
what
song.
it should have been called.
We don't have the rights to it, but everybody's slumming at me. I ain't
There you
got
go.
a word to say it. All right.
Yeah.
It is the
That's
hot,
the
hot,
same
hot
voice.
August.
That's your voice that's ask your doctor about plastics.
Yeah, that's right.
Say that.
I can't,
Say
I
it.
can't
I
say
love it when you say it.
Ask your doctor about Plavix.
There you go. That always
Check
cracks
engine
me up.
light on. We'll check it for free at AMCO.
Beep,
AABP.
beep.
MCO.
I want to do the beep beep. Okay. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
It's hot.
It
it's
is.
hot.
It's
Do you
so
know?
hot.
Do you know? As Carson would say, do you know how hot it is?
How hot is it?
So hot. This is the hottest summer in 2,000 years.
How do they know how hot it was 2,000 years ago? They didn't even have
Maybe they meant 200. No, I think it was two. And by the way, that was last year, 2023, the hottest, and they say 2024 has a 61% chance of beating that. And that's according to the nice folks at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Organization.
Whose days are numbered, apparently. We'll
Yeah,
see.
but if
we don't
we-
get political on this show, but
if
we'll see.
But yeah, but if it was hotter
Yes.
2,000 years ago, then we've been cooling off.
Yeah. Well, how did they even know that? I don't understand how they could actually know what temperature. I mean, I guess by looking
It's
at
a
like
time machine,
striations.
it's something they've done in the future that they can go
It's
back.
science.
All right.
Not my milieu.
I want to talk to you about the latest rage. You're
What?
just you're back and forth from Costa Rica.
Yes, I
It's
am.
hot there, it's hot here.
Yes.
The new thing in everybody's Hamptons backyard or Palm Beach or anywhere is the cold plunge tub.
You couldn't catch me dead in
No,
one of
I-
those. I mean,
well,
I would be dead.
I would,
like,
yeah.
I know it's supposed to be good for you. I just cannot.
Joe Rogan does it, so it must be good.
Oh, it must be. Look, you're gonna have to put things in the name
The
drop jar.
Egyptians invented this 35,000. How do we know that? 35,000 years? No, in 3,500
Well,
BC.
there you've got the petroglyphs and the hieroglyphs. You've got the pictures, the pictographs.
Hippocrates declared it a universal remedy, and they've been using it, and we see it on, remember North Dallas 40 when Nick Nolte and Mac
I love
Davis
that
were
movie.
sitting
Yes.
in the cold tub together?
I saw a sports movie, Ann Liguori, North Dallas 40.
60 I bet golfers do it. I bet Tiger gets in a hot plunge or a cold
I
plunge
understand.
after a hot tub cold plunge.
Well, the reasoning behind it is that it resets your nervous system. I do know about this.
We
It
need
resets,
that desperately.
It resets your CNS.
You and I should do that.
Yeah, totally. But yeah,
60
so
degrees.
when you go to the beach in Costa Rica, especially down in Dominical, they have these like trash. They're basically like trash cans, and you can pay like the equivalent of $2. They're filled with ice, and you can get in. Yeah, I'm totally serious. They have massages on the beach and cold plunges, and yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Okay, so
But I'm not doing
you're
it.
supposed to do it from 90 seconds and work up to 3 minutes. And we don't have a 55-gallon drum here, but at Jiffy Lube they do. Check in. No,
Beep beep. No, that's Amco.
no, Jiffy Lube is
Right,
different.
right.
I'm from Baltimore, and one of our guests grew up in Baltimore.
Yes.
But I digress, because
Yes,
that's
you
what I do
do
best.
very much.
So there is a $200, you can't get the 55-gallon drum, or maybe you could, but for $200 you can get an inflatable one, and they go up to tens of thousands of dollars. I have a friend, Nathaniel Kramer, who photographer, and he swears by that. I play golf with him.
By the cold
and
plunges.
He loves it.
So I just think that there's this like nefarious cartel of people throughout
Of
history
ice
who just
vendors?
who just that's a funny one, but no, that just people who just come up with really bad like things that are incredibly painful for people to do, and then like
Okay,
let's
well,
see
the
if they're
Egyptians
stupid enough
came
to
up
do
with
it.
this in 3500 BC.
They are still laughing. They are still laughing
BC
behind
was
their.
before cold. Did you know that? That's like before they had this, there was no cold.
Oh my God! Of course.
All of this in something called fieldmag.com, and we thank Catherine Englishman, who lives in Maine and wrote about taking the plunge. Later on in this hour, we're going to talk about the hottest movies of August, including a couple that I think you're going to enjoy.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
finally, do you know what the number one drink is this heated August? In fact, every year, every summer?
Water?
No,
It should be.
It is the out of that giant plunge tub.
Yes, exactly. Just drink the plunge. It's you have
The
to
essence of Nathan.
bathe in it and drink it.
Right.
Okay.
No, the mojito is traditionally the hottest
Oh.
drink. But guess what the trend is this year?
What?
And you're going to like
What?
this. Lower ABV, lower alcohol by volume options.
Oh, I'm gonna like it
That's
because
the
I'm
newest
sober.
thing.
Is that what
Yes. You'll be able to.
Yay, sober people!
Well, we're coming to you. What I'm saying is we're not there yet, but we're walking.
you're walking
We're
toward.
touching our nose and walking a line towards you.
Right. Like I've got the dodgeball. I'm the dodgeball captain, and people are generally coming towards
Yes.
me.
So
Okay.
it says bartenders all over have been moving into refreshers like a Blanc vermouth and soda with a twist, or an ice cold sherry and soda. And a key to this is the trend is all of these lower alcohol drinks. And now there are a couple of bars in Manhattan that do nothing but non-alcohol drinks.
Yeah. Even in Costa Rica, they
And they're
have
really boring.
mocktails. It's spelled Mocktaile. Mocktails.
Nice.
On the menus now. I'm like, mocktails. I like those.
So the new drink would be the Lesito.
The
There was the
mojito,
the
lesito.
I wanted to finish on something bigger than that.
Yeah, that's really.
Hey, play some hot music for us,
Yeah,
Jim
yeah.
Turner, if you can.
Take us
as
out.
we
We're in.
introduce our first guests.
Yes.
Please.
Oh, well, gosh, it's amazing. They really need no introduction. We've got the most fantastic guitarist alive, G.E. Smith, best known from SNL, but longtime resident out here, and his lovely Mrs. Taylor Barton, who's an incredible songwriter in her own right, and a writer, and has written books that I have read and enjoyed. Last year's, I pitched a tent in Hell. Was that last year? No, it had to be like 2 years ago. And who has a new novel out, a psychological thriller, Condom Eddie.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to say condom on the air?
I don't know.
I think you can say that anywhere.
Condom! I'm going to
Easy,
say.
yeah.
I am.
Does it-
I'm going to. I'm going to
Does
say
it come with a
everywhere.
Trojan?
That's a good marketing tip,
Yeah,
actually.
totally,
you know?
right?
Tip, so to speak.
Oh God.
Wait.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining
Yeah.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good to
like-
be
Are you
here.
nervous now that you've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
the first 10 minutes? You're like, what the
No.
hell are we doing here?
No, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. That's like.
fine.
Remember, he was married to Gilda Radner, so you gotta up your game.
Yeah. Oh God. Now I'm nervous. Okay, you have to put
And
something in here.
the fabulous Ellen Zweibel has done
Why, Bill?
an unbelievable job of not letting no one would forget her, but new generations come along, and he every first day of every month on social media says "bunny, bunny."
Oh.
Just puts those two words.
They were
out.
good friends.
Yeah.
That's
Alan
really
was
sweet.
her good friend. Absolutely, he was a great guy. Me and him had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Alan was a writer on SNL,
Yep.
and occasionally would be in a sketch, but not very often. And he was he wrote a lot for her, I guess, is
Yeah.
one of the ways they got started.
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
Lisa Lubner and some of the other characters that became her signatures.
Now, you guys met on SNL, didn't you?
met
You were
on
dancing.
SNL. I was dancing. I actually found the picture. I was hired to be on a Valentine's sketch dancing while he played Stormy Weather. So
Who were the host and the musical guests
I don't
on
know
that
who
show?
the
Do you
hosts were,
remember?
but that was,
Who was the host?
we met on the stage and
Maybe Wayne
I
Gretzky,
Googled
somebody
it.
like that.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
that was a
And
different show.
Sting had a movie
Oh,
called
sorry.
Stormy Monday that I wouldn't be surprised that had the song Stormy Weather in it. Wouldn't
Stormy
surprise
Weather
me at
or
all.
Stormy
Yeah.
Monday?
No, well, the
Both
movie
songs.
was called Stormy Monday,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Blues
sorry.
song.
but he wasn't the musical guest.
That's how we
No,
met.
not at that time.
Yeah.
Pat Birch, who
Oh, yeah.
everybody knows, Patricia Birch.
Yeah.
I was one of kind of her stock dancers for different shows, and so she brought me on. And one of my friends like, yeah, well, is there anything, can we see you? So I Googled it last week, and I found it, and I was like, wow,
That's
that
amazing.
crazy?
there it is.
There's
And that was the
28.
first time you met. And so who asked who out? Tell me your cute meet or meet
I
cute
asked
or whatever.
Taylor out, for sure. And she refused.
I refused for 6 months, and then he was out with Bob Dylan. I was married.
Oh, okay.
He was out with Bob Dylan in L.A., and I was out with Pat Birch in another show, and he flew in, and he's like, why don't you come see a show? And I did, and that was it.
And that's history. You
Yeah.
guys have been together for a very long time.
We have.
You guys came to our wedding.
Yes.
Me and Eric.
Yes.
Right, you and Eric,
And
yep.
We've
Yep.
been together.
35 years.
We've been together.
You've been here at 35 and we've been at 28
Yeah.
for us. Wow, it's amazing. I've known you guys a super long time.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see your
It's
sweet
so
faces.
great, and we're all here.
I know. Yeah, we're all still alive,
Yeah.
right? We're still kicking.
Yeah.
We are, and,
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
do you watch you guys watch NBC at all? Do you watch
The
Saturday
SNL?
Night Live or any kind of regular
We
television?
watch the news. We watch Lester Holt. That's about it. It's time for Lester.
Yeah, right?
NBC is still in your 401k, so
Yes.
you're supporting the home team.
Yeah.
But Saturday Night Live, no.
I haven't
Sometimes-
watched Saturday Night Live since 1980.
Well, I watch
Even though I was
the
on
reruns.
it.
Yeah,
I
you watch
didn't
reruns
But
again?
Yeah.
Taylor watches stuff.
I like the one the sketch, the ladies, I am 50, the Pilates lady, or, one cracks
There are
me
some
up.
funny ones.
Some of my favorite sketches, I mean, I worked a lot of the shows as an extra or a dancer was the In and Out, Nobody Gets Hurt,
Kevin
Robert-
Nealon.
Kevin Nealon's, and Wayne Gretzky's Waikiki Hockey. We danced for that.
Wow.
Whatever.
Well,
It
you
was
guys
good
should
fun.
write a book about your experiences. Like you guys should.
Yeah.
Oh, but it'd be so much fun.
Everybody writes a book now.
I know.
It's
Well,
kind of like
Well, I just wrote
Well,
a
I was
book.
going to say, well, that's a good segue, George, for us to discuss your
Yeah.
wife's new
yeah,
book.
but that's a different kind of book. I
Yeah.
mean, like a tell-all
Yeah,
showbiz
yeah.
book. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with one of those.
Yeah, yeah,
People have asked me to.
yeah. I
For
bet.
years, since the '80s, they've asked me to.
No,
Yeah, I agree with
get-
you completely.
Kiss
What
and
would be the
tell?
best
Yeah.
story that would be in that book?
He's trying
Good
to.
job.
See, no, you don't need to do the book if we can just have a little
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
conversation.
Let's do this.
No, but that is the thing, is
seen
that
it
like
all.
I love the idea of just hearing about the good things and the happy things or the funny things, but of course what they
Publisher
want
won't pay for that.
exactly
Right.
what they want is all
Sex,
the
drugs, and rock and roll. That's
exactly,
what they want.
which is not really what I'm interested in. You know, I like to hear
Not
the fun,
anymore.
nice stuff. Yeah, exactly, right. So tell us a little. Taylor, so we've got Authors Night on August 10th
That's
at
correct.
Herrick Park. You are one of the featured authors.
Yep.
Tell us about Condom Eddie and why. And when I mean, I know you've written novels, but this is a psychological thriller.
Yes, it took me 10 years to write. I started writing it when I was working for a major musical lawyer. And I, over the period of time, I this crazy character came out, and I was like, what is this? And then I started to watch a lot of stories, crime stories over COVID. And what kicked in for me was I took a character who does 23andMe, and she finds out she has a biological brother who's a convicted sex offender. So
really cool
she
idea.
decides it's her only blood.
Right.
She was adopted, he wasn't. So it's nurture versus nature, good versus evil. The two of them come together, and then she finds out it's her twin brother. And they work out this sort of horrendous past, him not really getting any better and her offering redemption. And I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of shows, and
That must have been pretty dark.
It
She
was
watched some
very
scary stuff.
Oh my
Absolutely.
really scary stuff. But I wrote it as a sort of, red flag for women to know, like when they're in the midst of something that is not going to
End well.
fare well.
Yeah.
And I wrote it for her too. I think a lot of adopted people have a fantasy of where they come from and
Yeah.
what it might be, but her bubble is burst when she realizes, like, she dodged the bullet. Her mother in the story is a crack addict prostitute who lives in Hell's Kitchen, and she creates this monster. But the other one is given up and raised and has an amazing life. But she is the only one who can take this guy on because he's her other half.
That's amazing.
It sounds like a Dateline, like Keith Morrison would be going,
Yeah.
It sounds like a movie.
Gandhi
It's
was innocent.
Definitely,
What was
it's
he?
a series. It's a series. I'm looking for someone to help collaborate.
Eight-part series, yeah.
Yeah,
On Netflix, I like it.
Limited series.
Yeah.
Any writers out there? But
That sounds amazing.
It was wild to write, and every day I sat down. I was like, "Where are we going now?" I mean, I had no idea where we were headed. But that came up, and like I said, it took me 10 to 15 years to write, and GE helped me edit it. And
I was going to say, do you because you guys collab obviously on
do,
everything
but
GE does.
He
Taylor's
was almost
part
an
of.
English professor, so he had to go. We had to go through this over and over again and get. He did a good job, and then I hired a real editor. And I'm very proud of it, So that, and I'm very proud of him. We got that other show with, portraits.
Yeah, we want to talk
that.
about. We want to ask
Absolutely.
you guys about
Gee, what is
portraits.
she like when she's writing? Does she have a ritual, like up at 5 a.m. and you leave her alone for a couple
Well,
hours?
definitely, you want to let her have her time to write, but no, not at 5 a.m. Taylor's not a 5 a.m.
No.
girl, never was.
But a routine of some kind?
Yeah,
when you're in writing mode?
I have a discipline of writing 3 or 4 times a week, at least an hour. And a tip a writer teacher always told me was stop when you're hot, so that you'll want to come back to it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Because I'm just starting to write stuff myself. And
Yes.
it is real. I am not a person who has a routine.
Yeah, no, I'm
You
a
wouldn't guess that.
So you build in your own
It's
little
really hard.
cliffhangers, and then you
Yeah,
go, wait. I
so
can't
that
wait.
you have a desire and reason to go back to it. And, with songwriting, the same. I have a beginning, middle, and end. I write pictures. Some writers write, hooks or answer call, but I like to write stories in my songs. And I play every day, and I practice singing every day.
Right.
With my now dead singing teacher. She left me with the tape, and she's still alive to me.
Yeah, it was like you
Marge.
can't. Well, who?
Marge, who also taught Linda Ronstadt and Bette Midler, and how I got into her camp. It was amazing.
That's a podcast, the Marge tapes.
The Marge tapes.
tapes,
Yeah,
yeah,
we get
for
all the singers on your. It was
Yeah, with the
great.
talking heads of the people.
She
that,
had who else was her?
Lots of people.
So many people.
But sometimes we'll get in the car, me and Josie, our daughter Josie, we'll get in the car, Taylor's car, and turn on the car, and Marge comes on. Josie goes, "It's Marge!"
That's so great.
She was a great lady, though.
Yeah, she was cool.
So tell us a little bit about Valerie June and Lola Kirk. This is at Guildhall, the newly renovated Guildhall.
Guildhall has reopened its doors, and it's August 15th at 7 o'clock. Valerie June is one of the most beautiful, talented, spirited women I have ever met. She does kind of blues, like Memphis blues. She's born in Memphis. She's a beautiful poet. She's a yogi.
Is GE
Yes.
playing?
Yeah,
You're
of
playing.
course
This
he's
is
playing.
like
Me and
the
Valerie
portraits,
will-
right?
We'll do this together.
She's
Fantastic.
gorgeous. And
Beautiful woman.
we are so happy she agreed to do this. She is blowing up right now. She's out all over the country
That's
playing
great.
with like Jason Isbell, Trevor Hall, this one, that one. She's huge. And then Lola Kirk
Is our own hometown
yeah,
girl.
our hometown girl. But Lola, when she was 6, was in my first music video.
Oh, really?
My very first. And she's this beautiful actress.
And she's Lorraine and Simon's
Lorraine
daughter.
Simon's
Right.
daughter, beautiful actress, wonderful singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Was in, she
She just did.
Broadway show. She's doing, it's not the Broadway show, but Roseanne Cash and John Leventhal co-wrote a show that Lola workshopped.
Right.
She was
And
in,
when you say, pardon me, Lorraine, you're talking about Lorraine Newman or
No, Lorraine Kirk.
Lorraine Kirk.
Lorraine
sorry.
Kirk was married to Simon Kirk.
no longer.
No longer.
Yeah.
But they have Lola and Jemima.
And Domino.
And Domino,
And
right, of
Greg.
course.
They're all art kids.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
If you've just joined us, this is Divorce Hampton style. I'm Bill McCuddy along with
No, we're just having this great talk with, if you're just joining us, Taylor Barton and G.E. Smith about all the cool things that are going on. And so this show is part of the portrait season. Now, you guys have been doing portraits for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell
But of
folks
course,
what that is.
yeah,
Okay,
Guildhall's been
Taylor
closed
came
for...
up with the whole portraits idea, and it was, I gotta say, brilliant, and it's worked out really good for us.
Yeah, so, I thought I wanted to cross vernacular, so I brought anybody, writers, filmmakers, artists, visual artists who played music, and brought them on stage with GE to do a set of their choice and talk to them about their creative process in between, from, how do they approach songs versus how do they approach acting. Like we had Kevin Bacon, Ethan Hawke,
Yeah, you've had
Carter
great people.
Burwell, Dawes, Roger Waters, Avett Brothers, Billy Squire. I mean, we've had so many
Sophie
cool
Hawkins. I remember.
people. Sophie B.
B.
Hawkins,
Yeah.
Paula Cole, Sarah Jarosz, lots of them. But I just loved it because what I love is the creation, the genesis of the whole thing, and everybody was so humble and wonderful. Ethan was when
Ethan
Ethan
was
came,
great.
he was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
He gives so much.
And he's really good musician.
Really?
You don't know these, you know Ethan as an actor, and obviously he's a great actor.
But he's done a lot of, movies, Blue. He's done a lot of,
Right, musical themed
musical
or,
things.
inspired.
He takes on a lot. And these two girls, Valerie June was in Elvis or?
No, that was Yola.
Yeah, but she was in the CNN movie of Gus Winters.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
was
is
James
Valerie
Brown,
June.
a documentary of James Brown.
Right.
So she's an actress.
Fantastic.
Lola is in, she was in Gone Girl and Mozart.
Mozart in the
Mozart.
Jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was amazing
And
in that.
she's
I just started watching that.
It's really cool, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
It's
is.
fun.
but,
Eric
but
loves
she's,
it.
She's so organic.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's going to be a really amazing show.
yeah, it's going to be a really amazing
Yeah.
show.
And that's August 15th at Guildhall, and it's Valerie June and Lola Kirk joining G.E.
back
Smith.
for our
How are
seventh
Hamptons
season.
audiences? Are they good?
Yeah, they're great. They love people. Where I'm basically.
It's not a lot of,
No.
No,
Not
they
the,
get
the
into
shows
it.
that we
Yeah,
do.
I basically am introducing artists to them. They might not know, but they really they know them, but they aren't used to coming in and seeing them into intimate venue.
Yeah, like
we
when-
know
like-
both of you. We didn't know there was a new book called Condom Eddie. It sounds like it's going to be a movie or a miniseries.
Thank you.
Very
Yes.
soon.
Yes, from
It's
your
been-
mouth to God's ears.
Guys, it's been so great having you,
so
Taylor
much
and
you.
G.E.
for having us.
Love
Thank
you
you
guys.
both.
Love you so much.
Yeah, I love you too.
And,
Bridget, always
th-
good to see you.
You too, honey. And I'm so glad to see you, and we'll see you soon
Yep.
on stage and at Authors Night.
Authors
Jim
Night.
Turner, play the legendary G.E.
Hit it, Jim.
Smith. And
Great to see G.E.
Yeah, man.
Plays the summer.
Do you want that book? Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm taking one of these. Or I'll take this. Thank you. Thanks, Bill.
because you're hot and you heard this show was cool, okay, you heard it from us. And now, frankly, you're a little annoyed. This is AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill. Past the ice plunge pool. And that is the one-man band, Jim Turner, who's also very, very cool and trying to keep us the same way. We're in the middle of an August show.
Yeah, we are.
And
Thanks for pointing that
we
out.
just need shade.
We just need to vamp a little bit
Music,
longer.
and a little bit of
Because the
shade.
show, yeah.
And now we're going to go green.
Yeah.
Everybody goes green, but we're going to do it with somebody who's writing and talking about golf.
Can we put her in front of the green screen?
No, no.
Yeah, we've got great guests now. It was great. And this is one of our
Thanks,
best shows
Jen.
ever.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, so there's not too much pressure on you there, Ann. Ann Liguori joins us now.
Ann Liguori is amazing.
She is.
And I'm so lucky to know her. And so glad that
We've
she came on
known
the
each
show.
other for years.
I know.
She has a new book called Life on the Green,
excited.
Lessons and Wisdom from Legends of Golf, and the foreword by Jim Nance.
I love Jim Nance. What a guy.
Well, you know them all. Let's
Really, can I just say that I'm going to be quiet now because you guys are talking about golf. So if I nod my head, like I don't know who Jim Nance is.
It's really a book for
Is this-
non-golfers
She's slightly
as well.
dyslexic, so flog is what she wants to do to me all the time.
No,
So.
right, okay, but I'm just going to. I'm really excited for you to be the lead on this one because I don't know anything about.
Here's
golf.
what you will find interesting.
Okay.
This was, as I made a joke earlier, a man's world, especially the broadcast end of it.
Right.
There is a women's league. Obviously, they play, but it must have been difficult for you in the beginning. What was who opened the first door for you as an announcer?
Wow. Gosh, going way back now. Well, you know, being on WFAN, the very first woman to host a sports call-in show.
Right.
That was 1987.
Hey, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Was it?
Exactly.
Get the guy on.
Exactly.
Did you get some of that?
Oh,
I'm sure.
We took calls, live calls. I had a show every week for 5-6 hours a week. Hey, Liguori, what's the story? And anybody could call. There was a 7-second delay button,
Thank
Oh,
God.
good.
which I used
We don't have that.
many times.
Did you get harassed by people, like by men?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm the kind of person on a golf course, I forget the bad shots. So I forget the bad experiences.
Good.
That's just the way I've always been. But back
Well, we have
then,
a caller now who's going to remind you.
No,
His
no,
name
no.
is Louis from.
I just remember just trying so hard and working just to be perfect because I knew that if I made a mistake, it would not only ruin my career, but it perhaps would ruin the opportunities for women in
other women
sports
coming up
media. So
after you, yeah.
I put so much pressure on myself.
There
Small
was no
town girl
Phyllis-
from
there was
Ohio.
No Phyllis George yet. There was
No, Phyllis George was on CBS Sports, and before that, let's see, what's the chronological order? I was on WFAN after I worked. My first job out of college was at CBS Sports, and Phyllis George, the beauty queen,
Right.
was
Right.
hired to host one of the hosts of NFL Today.
Okay.
And they did a really great special on her during the Super Bowl. And Jane Kennedy.
And I have to say, by the way,
You remember Jane Kennedy?
Sure.
Yeah, so there were women before me, but on radio sports formats, where it's a call-in sports talk show and anybody can ask you anything.
Yeah.
You know, that was a lot of pressure. I had to watch every Yankees game, every Mets game, every Giants, Jets,
Wow.
Rangers, Islanders.
So how did
And
you-
I did that show for 25 years.
how did you
What's
end
the
up
story?
mostly with golf? I mean, was that just
Right.
something that you loved?
I
from
love
the
golf,
beginning?
and I got hired to host a primetime weekly show on the Golf Channel by a guy, Michael Whalen, thank you, Michael, who I used to work for as a statistician for he worked at HBO Sports. He was a big boxing and tennis producer. And when he went to the Golf Channel and this new 24/7, Golf Channel was starting,
In the 90s, right? Or
yes,
in the
in the
yeah.
late 90s. He called me, and that, you know how some shows take forever to
Yeah.
become a reality?
Yeah.
My show, Conversations with Ann Liguori on the Golf Channel, took 5 minutes
Oh, wow.
to create in our heads.
Yeah.
He called and said, Ann, I love your work. I'd love for you to host a new show. There's a new channel coming on called the Golf Channel. It was the first 24/7 niche channel. Remember,
Wow.
it was
Yeah,
before
yeah.
the tennis
Right.
channel and
The History Channel.
The History
and
Channel.
Yeah, it was the first one.
And so my very first interview was with Sylvester Stallone. I decided, since, first of all, I asked Michael, the programmer, I said, tell me about the other shows that
Yeah.
are being created. And they were all with professional golfers. And I said, well, why don't I host a show where I interview celebrity golfers? So Sylvester Stallone was my first guest, Celine Dion, Matthew McConaughey.
And in the beginning,
Samuel
because it was
Jackson.
a golf network, did you have to go, my next guest is Sylvester Stallone?
I did not have to whisper. We weren't we weren't at these championship golf tournaments. I went to these incredible venues, these resort properties. I was at the Doral, interviewing Sylvester Stallone. I went to Desert Mountain for Matthew McConaughey. Celine Dion, she bought a golf course in Montreal so she wouldn't have to wait for tee times. So I flew up to Montreal, spent the entire day with Celine Dion and her husband, Renee, And I have to say, golf as a vehicle to get to know these celebrities gave us so much time.
Well, I mean, this show airs obviously on LTV, but also on WLIW-FM. You have a show on there, Sports Interview.
Right.
And it reminds me very much, there's also a show by Judy Carmichael called Jazz Inspired. But both of your shows, like your show isn't really about sports, it's about the inner workings of people.
exactly.
Just like Judy's isn't really about jazz, it's
Right.
about jazz life.
Right, I use sports
So-
to get to know people.
Yeah.
And the Sports Interview radio show has been on WLIW Saturdays from 7 to 8 in the morning for years.
Right.
And I had a TV version of that Sports Interview where I interviewed people like Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams and Hank Aaron. And I was in my 20s. And these personalities were much older and so willing to share their stories.
That's so lovely.
Unlike a lot of current athletes who it's very difficult to get a lot of these
When were you-
superstars on the air now, but all these
who made-
superstars back then wanted to come on the show and
Who
tell their
made you
stories.
the most nervous, or like when did you have the biggest kind of like?
I think Ted Williams,
Really?
because
Yeah.
he was older, he was such an intimidating presence. I mean, first of all, just getting that interview was impossible because nobody talked to Ted Williams. And I was in my 20s and he was quite elderly. His son, John Henry at the time, I was at a golf course in Orlando and I had learned that John Henry lived nearby because the Ted Williams Museum was near this central town in Ohio, in Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, yeah.
And I knocked on John Henry's door because I wanted to do the interview with his dad. And his wife answered, and I introduced myself. And I said, could you give my card? John Henry wasn't there at the time, but I said, could you give my card to John Henry and please have him call me? Because I really want to interview his dad. And sure enough, 2 days later, John Henry, the son, called me. I said, we're going to be up in Boston for the All-Star game. This was the late 90s. He said, if your camera crew is ready in this hotel where we're staying at 11 a.m., Ted will have just gotten up from his nap. He was ailing back then. So I really credit his son, John Henry, for helping me facilitate that interview. And when Ted Williams walked into the room, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like mythical.
Any sort of you're a woman, you're a little gal, you're any old guard from Ted Williams that
Not
what's
really,
this woman
Bill.
doing asking
It's really
these-
a good question because you would think back then they were much more traditional and old-fashioned, but I did so much research and I was so prepared that they were impressed that I had come so prepared,
Of course.
to interview them. And so none of them ever gave me any problems, really. And none of them, well, you know, I interviewed hundreds of sports legends, right? So aside from the
Some of those guys are prickly. I don't know if you want to
aside
name
from the
names. but
flirtations
it's-
and the what are you doing? You know, Evander
really?
Holyfield. You know, what are you doing tonight? And my husband at the time was in the room when he asked me out. You know, aside from that kind of thing,
Wait,
which
who asked you out?
Evander Holyfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and your husband's like, I'll stand back on this
What
one.
are you gonna do? You know, punch out the heavyweight champion of the world?
Right.
No way.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, we just laughed that off. Now people would probably file lawsuits.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of
But as
course.
a woman back then,
Yeah.
I just laughed all this.
Thank you, sir.
And then all the Hollywood people are used to having women and men interview them, so that wasn't as much of a stigma as some of these real old sports guys who I imagine gritted their teeth and said, "Yeah, she's good. I gotta let her."
I think before they even did the interview, they had known me or had heard about me and knew that I came totally prepared. And look, if I'm interviewing Mickey Mantle, sure, Whitey Ford may want to be on the show, and you know, Wayne Gretzky or Gordie Howe. I mean, that show was on for 17 years.
Yeah.
Who turned you down?
Who
Who
turned
was your
me
Cary
down?
Grant? That was who
Well,
Johnny
I'll
Carson
tell
always
you
wanted to
one
get.
thing. Well, in this book, Life on the Green, Lessons in Wisdom from Legends of Golf, you know, these are interviews with all these incredible golf legends, 6 men and 6 women. I made it a point to include women in the book as well. So everybody from Jack Nicklaus to Tom Watson, Ben Crenshaw, Nancy Lopez, Annika, Jan Stevenson.
Your colleague Dottie Pepper, who
Dottie Pepper.
all I ever hear, all those guys on the any golf coming, what do you think, Dottie? Dottie, does it look good, Dottie?
Hey, Dottie. I know, that cracks me up too. But I had actually thought maybe Roy McIlroy would really, of all the younger guys, he would be a great voice as representing the current players.
Right.
And he told me he would do the interview. Sure, Ann, because I've known him forever. His agent nixed it.
Oh,
and
that's
nowadays
good.
you have to really,
Yeah, the
you
Hamptons
can't kind of
gatekeepers.
manipulate around the agents like I used to
Yeah.
back in the day.
It lets them
Absolutely.
be good cop, and it lets somebody else be bad cop.
Exactly.
That's how all of
Exactly.
Hollywood works. So,
So-
that's why you have to get something in writing.
Why, after all the kind of live interviews you've done and
Yeah.
face to face, what made you want to put it on paper and have
Right.
something that
Well,
people can
my
read?
first book was A Passion for Golf Celebrity Musings about the game, and they were the interviews from my show on the Golf Channel with all these, Hollywood stars and musical stars, from Alice Cooper to, Matthew McConaughey.
Alice Cooper is a scratch golfer.
He is.
Really?
The day he
really-
got out
that
of
means-
rehab,
that
he
means
played
he's
36
good.
holes of golf and never stopped playing golf. He transferred addiction. And he's very happy to tell you that. He talks all about that
That's
in
amazing.
that chapter.
But what made you want to do
But
this
I-
particular book?
Right. So I wanted to do my original idea to do another book, because it'd been a while since that first book, was to do the behind the scenes book of interviewing Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle and Hank Aaron and Will Chamberlain, who had to bend his
You showed
knees
us that
just to get
picture.
into the Waldorf where we
Fantastic.
were taping. And the publisher, Heatwave Press, said, no, we want a golf book. And I had pretty much kind of connected with them during the pandemic, and golf was so popular.
Oh, yeah.
It really experienced this resurgence, right? And they wanted a golf book. So I said, I can do a golf book. I've been covering 26 Masters and
Right.
U.S. Opens and PGA Championships and LPGA Tour events and Ryder Cups and so
live takeovers. And
everything. I talk about it all. And so I thought, let's do a golf book. And I wanted it to be very uplifting. I wanted the themes to be universal. So I picked 12 legends, and they each talk about what they learned from golf that they use in their day-to-day life. So it's life wisdom.
That's amazing.
Gary Player talks about pursuing your passion. He's 88 years young. He plays golf every day. He works out every day. I know, because I did sit-ups with him.
88.
Yes, 88. And push-ups in the living room for a TV show I did with him years ago. And, Annika Sorenstam talks about there are no shortcuts to success, her work ethic. So all these themes resonate with men and women, young and old.
Yeah.
Dottie Pepper talks about preparation and how important it is. And I know for your interviews, you probably prepare hours for this show.
what's the name of this
We
book
do a
again?
show? We do a show? What?
Where's Tony Langua?
No, so all the
Yeah.
themes are great, for the advice that I have for anybody, young or old, are all in this book. All these, Tom Watson, learn from the best.
Now,
His
where-
mentors were the best golfers, from Arnold Palmer
Okay,
to
let's get a little inside
Byron
golf ball
Nelson.
for a second. First of all, what's going to make young people want to play this game? Yeah, we got Justin Timberlake. He's okay as you're listening to this. We've got Rory, you mentioned. We've got some young people playing the game, but it's really aging out. And it's
I don't think so, Bill. I think there are so many young people playing now. It's become so popular. It used to age out, but now it's cool to play
Is
golf.
it because there are public courses? It's becoming more of an everyman sport when
Well,
it
they're
used to be
trying to in
considered.
this country, yeah.
Yeah.
In countries like Ireland, I mean, they play at a very early age. It's much more accessible in Ireland. But in this country, they're trying to do programs to get more people involved,
some of those famous Scottish places, like I'm going to say St.
Andrews.
Andrews, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me. If you live in that town, you can walk on.
Absolutely. You
anytime.
can play for free, or
Yeah.
they have so many
St. Andrews
programs
is the
for
oldest
locals.
golf course in the world.
$2,000 for
Yes.
us to go and play.
Excuse me,
And
I just had
takes
a piece
a year.
I just had golf trivia. I knew that St. Andrews was the
know.
oldest golf course in the world.
It's amazing.
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
You have to
must have
play.
you must have told me that at lunch sometime. I'm like, I'm going to
No,
store
the young
that.
people are
the
playing golf
Egyptians
now.
built it in 3500 BC.
With the cold plunge pools.
And there's so much money in the game that these young people are chasing the money. There's
What do you
so
think
much
of this
money.
new ball? The new ball
new
that
ball?
doesn't go as far, that they're trying to
What?
make part of. Yeah, okay.
Why?
Because
Why?
Because they're hitting the heck out of the ball.
Okay.
And they're making a lot of these golf courses obsolete.
Okay.
And their scores are getting lower and lower. And
Oh,
the
okay.
guys,
these
there's
par
so much
fives
power.
are suddenly getting threes or more
So
often.
it's almost like
Because
mini
the
golf.
technology in
Right.
golf has become so
So
incredible
some idiot
that
decided maybe if we made the ball heavier and
change the ball a little
the
bit.
and PGA is looking at, they're thinking about it.
USGA originated the whole concept, so it may happen.
You like it?
Well, I think there are a lot of question marks about it, because what are they going to do? They're going to do it for the pros, But are the same? Is the same ball
No
going to
amateur's
be?
going to want to use that
That's
if it's
what-
20
well,
yards shorter or 40 yards
Do
shorter.
the amateurs want to play the products that the pros play?
Yeah, that's
so there are a
right.
lot of
No, you're
question
right.
marks about
You're
it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, and I mentioned Live, which is this
Yes.
new league that's paying
Right,
billions
it's
of
like
dollars
the
to
Emirates,
guys.
right? It's UAE.
But
or
we had
something.
this conversation recently at one of your book signings, and I want to talk about some of your book signings in the
Yeah,
month of
me too.
August. But like they're they're paying people, and I just remember the XFL and football. I remember
Yeah.
all these other franchisee things that have tried to start up
Right, and they
go
just
away.
Right, they fall by
Yeah.
the wayside.
What do you think about Live? And what do you think about
They
the
have-
guys that went to play for them? And what do you think about the PGA and the USGA not acknowledging some of these
the
folks?
Saudis have unlimited funds.
Right.
So I don't think they're just going to go away. They want a seat at the table. They organized Live. They brought a lot of stars, Bryson DeChambeau
Right.
and who else? But Patrick Reed and Dustin Johnson, and they paid them a fortune to go over.
And they put them on teams and
Yeah.
changed the graphics.
I don't watch it. I think it's hard to watch.
Really?
I don't watch it. No.
Why is it hard
Honest?
to watch?
It's
I mean, for someone who
it's a
doesn't
team
want.
concept, and the way
Oh.
it's presented on TV is very confusing. I think they have
G.E.
to.
Smith has not, if you're just joining us, G.E. Smith has not watched Saturday Night Live since
1980, and he was still on it.
And Ann
for
Liguori
years.
I don't watch
has not
Live Golf.
watched Live
I'm not a
Golf.
fan of Live, and
Okay.
I just think that.
Should the players be allowed to play in both leagues?
Well, I think eventually that's going to happen. They want a uniformity because the PGA Tour is missing a lot of these stars now, and I think eventually they'll come to some agreement. But if the Saudis don't invest $3 billion into the PGA Tour, don't you think they're going to want to control the PGA Tour? And the
Yeah.
PGA Tour doesn't want to lose control. So
Right.
therein lies the issue and why the negotiations are taking so long. But I do feel that, at this point, yes, let the Live players, let them come back. But they took the money and left the tour that made them famous and made them millionaires.
Yeah.
And
would
so,
be bad.
but the other part of that is the PGA Tour did get an investment from the Strategic Sports Group, American investors.
Oh, okay.
And they paid the PGA Tour players who were loyal. They paid them loyalty
They give them
money.
like bonuses,
Yeah.
like loyalty
yeah, big-
bonuses.
big-
So it's all about the money.
Yeah,
It's
of
kind of a
course.
turnoff, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
all kind of a big turnoff to me.
Yes, although young people would find that interesting, and maybe young people would come to the table if they thought.
I think Live is appealing to younger golfers because of the live music and it's not traditional golf, it's different. And I
Right.
think they're
I don't
appealing
like
to
the team thing and
Yeah.
the way they score it with teams. I
Yeah.
just want to see the individual guys.
Yeah.
I would just want to see all the stars playing as many golf events as they can play.
Should the hole be larger? Should the golf hole
For
be
you
larger?
and me, yes.
How large can
Yes.
you make it for
Now-
me?
Now, the scores are so low for the pros. I mean, there's another guy just shot a 59.
Could be a little bit, just a little bigger.
A 59. What is a normal one? Like 72 or something?
It depends
the
from
guys
course to course.
they're all to golf and score in the 60s 4 straight days is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And they're doing that consistently now. And the lowest score is a 58. Jim Furyk shot that. But there's been a ton of 59s.
Wow.
And yes, it's
So you have to have a couple of holes in one to do
well,
that.
not
No,
holes in ones as
no.
much as birdie, eagle.
Okay.
Right.
Couple
And
egos,
this is
maybe.
back to the earlier conversation about
Birdies and
I'm
eagles.
mansplaining. This is my favorite
No,
part
please
of the
do,
show.
because
No,
I will accept your mansplaining
the
right now, 'cause I know
science-
nothing about
The
golf.
science of the drivers and all the other tools in their
'Cause you have
bag
different
has
kinds
gotten
of
so much
hitter
better.
things.
They can hit it longer. The scores are going down, and they're saying, "Well, what if we made the ball?" They can't go out and make the courses longer.
No, of course, they
although
can't
plenty
change
of
them.
courses do that in
They're
order
trying
to
to.
attract.
Yeah.
A major golf, they'll build longer, further away tee boxes and go, now we're 7,000 yards long. And
Right.
suddenly the USGA goes, oh, maybe we should play the Masters there. Or not the Masters.
The reasoning behind that is the same as the Olympics, which is it just brings in tons of money to whatever town is hosting these things.
Yeah,
Right? It's good for
but
everybody.
the members secretly don't like it. It tears up the course for a
Oh,
while.
yeah.
exactly.
But the hotels and all the
but
hospitality around there
these
and
venues
merch.
do
and,
get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So.
We've got a major thing coming to Shinnecock.
That's right.
What we do when?
Yeah.
Another U.S. Open
The US
But
Open.
not this year.
in
No.
2026.
2026 is
And
another
then Beth Page, the Ryder Cup next year.
The great thing about Beth Page, to anyone, and you'll find this a little interesting, because you mentioned public courses earlier.
yeah.
Beth Page is public.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, and they're
And
going
it
to
takes
host the
forever
Ryder
to get
Cup.
in, or you have to know somebody, or,
Yes.
which I shouldn't have just said. We're live. I'll edit that out. No, you can. Anyway, there's five
There's five golf
courses.
courses at Bethpage.
One, the black, so difficult, nobody plays it.
Really? And
And
is
you
that
have to
the one
walk
where
in.
That's where the court.
They're gonna do the Ryder
Right.
Cup.
Yeah.
That's where they do all the championships.
And even the pros complain.
And I know about the Ryder Cup because Tom Clavin wrote a book about the Ryder Cup all those many years ago when he and I were at the Independent.
Yes.
So I had to read it because I had to look at him every day.
Yes. I'm
You know.
so excited. My book is right next to Tom's
Oh, how
at
sweet.
Barnes and Noble in Bridgehampton.
Well, Tom
Wow.
Clavin is
Yeah,
our
you've got-
movie maven, but right now he's on a million
You've
tours,
been
so he couldn't be
Not
here.
writing a golf book
No.
movie because they don't make any money. Tin Cup and
Oh, the movies?
Yeah, well,
Bagger Vance and
Happy
and
Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
They never made any money.
No,
Well,
they
no,
do.
no, those are the three.
Yeah,
I'm
those are
saying
the three
that
they do.
like-
Yeah,
Hey, I do
Caddyshack.
not mean to put you.
Caddyshack
I
is
don't
the
mean to put
best.
you on the spot, but I'm really interested in your answer to this, and we
Okay.
talked about this before, so I don't feel too bad asking you. Where were you on the night of? No. How is it 2024, and we sit here, and in Augusta, Georgia, they still call something the Masters when real estate brokers can't call a main bed. It's now the primary bedroom. And I know the origin of the word the Masters is about the best golfers and has nothing to do with the history of the South, but everything else is getting woked away. And
Wow.
I just wonder
That is a
if
loaded
that'll
question.
ever gonna
Yeah,
That
it
will
is.
never change.
yeah.
It means he really likes you. If he's asking you a real
Augusta
question.
National. That's when Tiger called me dude, because he
Oh, yeah.
really likes me. Seriously.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. When I asked him this question, hey, dude. No. They will never change. It's a private club. They can do what they want.
That's it. That's the short answer,
That's
and you think that's
basically-
the way it's
I
going to
think
be.
that's the way it is.
Well, I'm
It
gonna.
might not be right. It might not be universally accepted, but they weren't pressured into letting women in.
They were
didn't.
late to that party,
They
too,
they
right?
allow women members now, and they only have so many. but-
Condoleezza Rice. And
Right, but they weren't. When the woman protested, wanting women members, it set us back even further because they said, no, we're not gonna. We're not going to cave in to protesters.
They did start another tournament that week, right?
Yes,
For
they
women,
have
but
the-
not on their course. It's at a course around.
the championship round is at Augusta National.
it is,
It's
okay.
the Augusta National Women's Am. So they're much more female friendly now.
I
must
told you
say.
we'd make golf interesting.
Yes.
Look
No,
at you.
seriously, I've been there for 20.
kidding.
I've covered 26 Masters, and they treat me incredibly well.
Yeah.
And they have this women's amateur championship now.
Yeah.
So they're the new chairman. Not that he's new; he's been there for a long time. He has 2 daughters, and I think they really were big on creating this women's amateur championship.
Well, let's get back to Life on the Green, your book, Ann Liguori, because I know that we're just about to run out of time.
No, but we want to
we've
talk
got
about
another
August.
5
Where,
minutes. Yeah,
where
we
you're
wanna-
going to be
yeah, where are you
promoting.
gonna be?
Yes, on August 21st at
Yeah.
1 o'clock, I'll be at the Rogers Memorial Library in
Southampton.
Southampton to give a talk.
How great.
Yes, I've been doing a lot since the book came out in April, and it's been nonstop. But August
great.
is
Well, we're not going to let you go without talking about your own score, what your handicap is, and when you played for the first time, and maybe.
wow.
And have you played with Tiger, the dude?
I have not played with the dude. I'm the dude.
You're the dude.
Tiger
He has
with
not
the
played with the
Right.
dude. I didn't play golf when I was a kid. I played every other sport. I
Really?
did not play golf. Yeah, I played golf when I started getting all these great invitations to play celebrity golf events and charity golf events after having this primetime show on the Golf
Right.
Channel. And I was in my 20s.
And didn't all of those celebrities, Stallone and all those people, have a celebrity golf tournament that they sort of fronted or played in? or
Well,
did-
some of them have celebrity golf events, but they all love the sport, but
charity.
they might not be great golfers.
Right.
Not just because I'm interviewing them about their golf game. I really used golf as a window into their souls.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
really about their success stories and their opinions on all kinds of issues. They might not have been, Stallone with the biceps, he could hit the ball pretty far.
Yeah.
But his short game was terrible. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, and Celine had a great swing. She traveled with the pro
Right.
every time she played golf back in the day.
Wow.
Beautiful swing. So not all these they love the game because they could spend more time with. Celine picked it up because she wanted to spend more time with her husband.
It really is
That's
remarkable
sweet.
because it's
Yeah.
a 3.5, sometimes 4 hour with 3 other people if it's a
Yes.
foursome. So it is an opportunity for men and women or anybody to bond. But
You learn a lot about a person playing golf with them.
yeah, anybody
That's
you
a
got in
great
The
a
point.
good, the bad, and the ugly.
anyone in a foursome, you're like, oh, get me out of this. As
Oh
quickly as
God,
possible.
all the time.
Somebody beat me. I need to get
No,
out.
no, no, no. Sometimes it's very slow. It's very hot. If you're going in playing these charity events, this rounds can be 6 hours, and they can't. Some of these people can't hit the ball. They're
What's
just
the
like,
one where they
what time is it?
they also do basketball and it's at somewhere on the West Coast and they've got a rock concert going and there's
Yes.
a basketball court. It's one of the celebrity pro-am things that the soap opera star wins every year.
Yes, the celebrity. They do a celebrity tournament every year, and it's not in.
Is it Nevada or is
It's
it
in Nevada,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And it's
Yes.
and they're doing other stuff.
All
It's like
these athletes from all these different sports
Right.
they're so passionate about golf. They can't perfect the game.
Right.
They're the best. You ask Michael Jordan. He is humbled by golf. You ask, Wayne Gretzky. He is humbled by golf. It's the hardest It's the hardest sport out there because it's
so minute.
it's
and-
so precise,
Right.
and your body's working in all different kind of directions, and you have to have
Well, your body is.
you have to have it consistent
Yeah.
swing every time, and so perfection is unattainable, and that's why all these superstars love it because they're humbled by golf.
Yeah.
They can't master it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I'm a 22.5.
Okay.
You are on WFAN, you're on WLIW, you are working still to this day everywhere, and a brand ambassador for the clothing you're wearing.
This
Yes,
is IB Cool.
I have some IB Cool
Don't you
pieces.
love it?
I do.
It's
Do you?
UPF 50
Yeah, because of
sunscreen.
that.
I wear IB Uncool.
They have a men's line
They
and
do.
a junior line.
I got a shirt for Eric, and
Yes.
at first, I'll be honest, because this is an honest show. He was like, "Oh, it's not natural material." Was his big thing because he wears bamboo and cotton,
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
But I'll tell you, it's one of his favorite
Is he
shirts.
Gilligan?
It's soft. It's very lightweight.
No, it's really lightweight. It is so comfortable
Yeah.
for him to wear. He
then
wears
you
it all
were
the time,
saying
and it's
It
beautiful.
has ice
It
fill
actually makes you-
technology.
yeah.
It cools your body
This is not
temperature a couple
QVC.
degrees.
Call in now and
Yes.
hurry.
No, but it's wonderful, and I have a a little dress and I wear it in
they have
Costa Rica all the
dresses
time.
and, skirts.
It's really cute.
Shorts.
What are they paying
tops.
you a year to wear
No,
that stuff?
So much money.
so much money. Oh my gosh, you don't even know
So
what to do
much.
with it. It's so
But
much.
if you go on ibkui.com
Yes.
and put in my promo code ANN20, you get 20% off.
Now we are
Yeah.
QVC.
Yeah.
ANN20. You
No,
get
but
20%
it's
off.
really, I gotta tell you, it is really nice because, like I said, I mean, if Eric will wear it, anyone
And
should
you
wear
And
can
it.
it's
wear
that
it-
wiki, maybe it's not their technology, but wiki, that stuff
Yeah,
that
it keeps you
keeps
cool.
it cool instead of, you said like
It's
10
called
degrees?
ice fill technology. Yeah, it
Yeah.
cools your body down in hot and humid temperatures.
It's really
And
good.
it's very soft, and you can throw it in
Yeah,
your
it's nice.
suitcase when you go to Costa Rica, and it doesn't wrinkle.
Yeah,
it's
it's
great
great.
to
The
travel.
last
is
little
great.
plug I'll give it is it's also SPF safe, right? So
Yeah.
that's
So you
that's
SPF
important.
50.
It's really
'Cause
great.
I'm
And there,
getting
a lot.
spots.
You wear long sleeves, and it has meshing for breathability, and there's so many different styles. They come out with 3 collections a year.
Life on the Green, lessons and wisdom. We have had the wisdom for the better part of an hour here with Ann Liguori. Well, the better part of a half an hour.
Well, we had Ann Liguori and we had Taylor and GE,
and we're
which
going to
is
talk
always
movies
great.
in just a second.
And
Ann,
Bridget
who-
will now become a golfer after this conversation.
If you bring me to a course and nobody's looking, I will try.
You'll love it.
Who would
Okay.
play you in the movie version of this book?
Oh wow, what a question!
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a
I see
blonde.
What do you mean now? You're clearly a
No, we
natural
saw some
blonde.
pictures. If you're just
I
joining
was
us, we're
showing
listening
him
to
pictures of
Ann Liguori.
I know, that was so great.
Muhammad Ali as a short-haired brunette.
Yeah,
I know.
Crazy.
There has
That
been a
was awesome.
transformation.
Yes, there is.
And thank you so much for
thanks,
coming
Thank you
on.
guys. I
And-
love this.
Oh,
You're
please.
so
This
neutral
was the
together.
rehearsal. We'll start now.
Yes.
It'll be all the same questions. No. Hey,
Take
how about
two.
some gentle golf music, Jim Turner? That then transitions into maybe some movie music. We have just a couple of
Terrific.
minutes left.
Yeah, we just have a few minutes left.
Because you thought this was Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, and now your radio dial is stuck, and you're stuck on AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill.
It'll all be over soon.
Yes, it will.
I love it.
So, thank you, Mr. Turner. We have a few minutes left, a couple of minutes to talk
Yeah,
about.
I want to talk about summer movies. You know, one thing happened this summer that kind of upset me, and I will tell you about it. It was the motion picture Bike Riders that came out in July, and it was in theaters for like 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks it was $19.99 on demand.
Really?
And this to me is the problem with the movie business. I think
Okay.
it's going away. We need some big blockbusters, and so this month, the very one and done M. Night Shyamalan is back with a motion picture called Trap, starring Josh Hartnett. Now, get this.
But I just have too many things going on in my head. You just gave me too much
M. Night
information.
Shyamalan, The Sixth
No, I
Sense.
know that. But his daughter just did something as well.
Yes, she did
a few months ago. But also, didn't
And that
they
movie
do
wasn't
some
good either,
poll?
so she's a chip off the old block.
But they did a poll last month where they asked people where they would prefer to see films, and it was overwhelmingly people don't want to leave their house. They want to stay at home. Now we've got the big movie theater, you know,
Right.
the home theaters and stuff
Mrs.
like
McCuddy and I have the 100-inch, and all I'm going to tell you is
got nothing to say
this
about
thing was 25 grand like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and now they're $1,500 bucks.
Right.
So when the 150-inch screen comes out and it's $99,
Yeah, of course.
you can
Who's
kiss
gonna ever
Regal
leave-
goodbye.
I know, which is sad because
But
I
this
do-
is interesting. Trap, starring Josh Hartnett, is
Yeah.
about a serial killer they're trying to find. So they throw a rock concert that's all fake.
Just to lure him in.
lure this guy in. Josh Hartnett's the cop. Only M. Night Shyamalan, and then it turns out everyone's dead at the end.
Oh, of course. No. Well, God, and what?
Also,
what
the new Alien Romulus is coming out, but with no Sigourney, as far as I know, no Sigourney Weaver. I think Ridley Scott is back doing this. Another Alien movie, I'm not sure is going to bring throngs of people back into the theater.
and what's My Penguin Friend?
Yeah, it's about a fisherman. It looks like a charming
I mean,
little
like My
family
Octopus
film.
Teacher, but My
Yes.
Penguin Friend.
Yes.
I love it. I love
I'm your
penguins.
penguin friend.
You are my little penguin friend, and it's been another fabulous show.
Yeah, we got to waddle out of here.
Yeah, thanks again to Jim Turner, to G.E. Smith and Taylor
Were we
Barton.
hot? I'm not sure. Maybe we were lukewarm.
It'll be up to the audience to decide our hotness. and
Thanks for
whether we
joining
need-
us here on LTV and also on WLIW. And now the great legendary Jim Turner.
Take us out, Jim.
And G.E. Smith called someone I played with once. No, they're great friends and they play together all the time. This was Hot Hot Hot.
It was. It was a great show. See?
The proceeding has been brought to you by Canoe Place Inn and Cottages, fine hospitality in Hampton Bays since 1697. More at canoeplace.com.